the same risk management you're applying on your trading account is the same risk management you're supposed to be applying in your bank account too. Like, I don't remember which one it was, but I will post the setups over here. You guys can check them out. Welcome back to another YouTube video of FLAIR, where we make trading very simple. It is another week, it is another dollar. So if you're new here, please make sure to click the subscribe button. I post content like this every single Sunday. Now, for the guys interested for the mentorship, I'll put up my poster over here. You guys can check it out, see if you're interested. But nonetheless, guys, let's get into the breakdown. A lot of the pairs and currencies have been moving really nice last week. Really profitable week. I'll break down the trades that I took, so watch till the end. Alright. So this is gold on the daily time frame. I'll break it down so it's easier for you to understand. So with gold, as we can see, guys, this guy's been pushing all the way to the top. Low has been made over here, right? High has been made over here. Right, simple, clean cut finish. Now, the Fibonacci retracement tool, guys, like I've seen a lot of you guys comment about it, and a lot of you guys are learning to understand it, and some of you guys still get it confused, right? So for me, my strategy works like this. I make money when the market is moving higher or lower and lower. I never make money when the markets are moving sideways. The main reason is because I use the Fibonacci retracement tool to let me know how far a certain instrument is going to retrace. Hence why it's called the Fibonacci retracement tool, right? Then if I can figure out how far something's gonna retrace, it makes it easier for me to catch it as it reverses all the way to the top, right? So now, we'll start off with gold. As you can see, right, this is on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, you can see that gold has made this low and pushed all the way to the top over here. I'll pull out this scan box. This scan box basically shows the halfway point, right? So we can see that gold, the only reason gold is reacting off of this now is because of this fair value gap, and it's at the equilibrium. Buyers are just coming in because it's in the middle and price is pushed all the way to the top, and it has came back to the downside now, and we can see maybe gold wants to go to the top. But for me, based off of the strategy that I trade, it's still telling me that gold is going to drop a little bit lower, so relatively over here, right? So now, it's just a matter of a patience game. The chances of gold to climb all the way to the top is very high. You know, gold in general usually does respect the 50%. But one thing I've noticed, especially with the trends that I've seen with gold, like it usually does come back to this level over here. As you can see in this instance, it did, right? So now with gold, I'm still on the same bias that it's still going to drop, right? Just patiently waiting for it, right? Even if you go like to the 4-hour time frame, we're gonna see that maybe these like pullbacks and stuff. So what we can see on the daily time frame is that on the 4-hour time frame, the price did push all the way to the downside, pushed all the way to the top, and started sinking all the way to the downside. We have a nice pullback over here. Maybe we can find gold literally just climbing just a little bit higher, right? So we can catch the move all the way to the downside, then we can jump in over here, right? So I still do trade intraday trade gold, but I understand that this is a very good significant point, especially when we look at it from the daily perspective, that gold can climb all the way to the top. So it's just a matter of a patience game, especially for this guy. So let's move over to the next pair. All right. So this is Bitcoin on the daily time frame, right? So with Bitcoin, it's quite different because with this guy, we were anticipating him to drop all the way downside to this point over here. This fair value gap to fill it out. Even when you pull out the Fibonacci, I've noticed that cryptocurrency follows like the currency. So 73% is a zone it likes to retrace off of. So this was a key zone to buy off of. For me, I just wanted price to come in a little bit deeper, so we missed that entry and price pushed all the way to the top, right? So it is what it is. But now when we look at price in and of its own, right? Let me just do this. When you look at price in and of its own and it's pushed all the way to the top, we can see that, okay, cool, price is pushed all the way to the top, and how are we gonna leverage off of this, right? So you can see this is the lowest point that we have, and this is relatively the highest point that we have. So this is the range that we're playing in, right? When we go to the weekly time frame, things become a little bit more clearer, as you can see, right? On the weekly time frame, we can even pull out the Gantt box from bottom to top, right? And then say that this is relatively the equilibrium. So this is relatively where we're looking to be entering buys off of, right? So when we go back to the daily, it's going to show us this zone over here. So this point over here is where we're interested in buying what? BTC USD from down here all the way here, right? So for me, this is where my entry is going to be. That's if price does even decide to come back to 83. Because look, we're already on 104 now. Like, this guy's rushing to the top. Hence why I broke it down today. You know, we even got a change of character showing us that the trend wants to reverse and change, right? So now we'll just be patient as much as it is. For me, my buy setups are going to be over here, right? Stop loss relatively below the low, TP all the way to the top. Probably even going for like maximum TP, like not even having a TP, or we can even go for the relatively the old all-time highs. So relatively over here, we can go 409 as a TP. You know, relatively clean, nothing too hectic, especially with Bitcoin. It's looking really nice for the upcoming week as well. So just another one that we need to pay attention to too, guys. But that's what I do have for Bitcoin. Let's move over to the next pair. All right. So this is USDJPY on the daily time frame, right? So with this side, we did catch a few buys during the week, right? Let me just show you what the trades that we went for. So we saw that GBP/JPY push all the way to the top and broke structure over here, right? Bingo bango, right? Broke structure, and then I pulled out my Fibonacci retracement tool from bottom to top, and then we executed relatively over here. So this is the first entry. I'll probably just put the screenshots over here. Let me just do this. Yeah, I'll probably just put the screenshots over here so you guys can check them out, right? So it's the first entry, right? And then I initially scaled in again. I think it was on the 1 hour time frame, right? As the market was moving all the way to the top. I think it was relatively around FOMC's time. Like, I don't remember which one it was, but I will post the setups over here. You guys can check them out. But this is the original entry. We just hit TP1. TP2 is almost gonna get hit, but already we got out around this point, guys. So this was a clean cut setup, right? Now, in terms of like the movement now for the upcoming week, where am I gonna be planning? I'm still planning on buying what is USDJPY, especially to those highs over here. At least if we break these highs, I'm gonna be satisfied. So with this instance, I can come in with my Fibonacci from bottom to top over here, right? That, and then go to the 4 hour time frame. Then it's showing us this over here, right? Relatively, but I still feel like it's gonna keep on climbing. Just let this thing load just 2 seconds. I still feel like USDJPY is gonna climb a little bit more than I anticipate, and then we'll just mark out the highs and then I'll push it all the way to the downside with the Fibonacci. Hopefully, if this thing just loads, bro. All right, so yeah, this is the 4 hour time frame, right? So this is the low and the high that I'm patiently waiting to see if it's gonna retrace to. So right now, what we can see is that price did make this low and did make this high, right? And then it is sunk all the way to the downside. When we go over to the 1 hour time frame, things become a little bit more clearer. We can see that price maybe wants to respect this zone over here. I am recording this on a Friday, so today is the 9th, I reckon. Yes, the 9th. So I'm recording this on the Friday, so I'm gonna just let the markets close and see what we can do. But in terms of entry for this one, I think it's just a bit more of a patience game, because right now for me, even if I were to pull out the Fibonacci, like, there isn't any nice fair value gaps that is highlighting, like it's hugging, right? So that's something that I'm also not really happy about. But one thing I'm also noticing about UJ, like, as you can see, this one was really nice because it was hugging relatively just below the fair value gap, and with this one it's quite different, right? So my anticipation is that maybe price might want to come and respect this zone over here, right? This fair value gap and this order block, so we can come in with buys over here and then push it all the way to the top. But it's just a matter of patience, guys, especially with UJ. But one thing I can say, right, from the 1st month to the 6th month, so from January to June, like, currency pairs move very nice, but indices are moving very slowly and whack, right? So that's one thing I've noticed, as much as it is. But for UJ, I'm just patiently waiting for this guy to drop and then push all the way to the top. And all of these things, guys, all of the trades that I'm taking, this is all sent to the signals group, right? When you join the mentorship, you will get signals, you will get entry criteria, you get trade setups from me every day, even trade ideas, you get it? I mean, so for anybody who's interested, please make sure to click the link in the description and let's work together, right? But that's what I do see for UJ. Let's move over to the next pair. All right. So this is Nasdaq on the daily time frame, as you can see. So with Nasdaq, another thing with currency pairs in and of its own, they move quite different from indices. With indices, we can see that there's a strong push all the way to the top. We even got a change of character over here, bingo bango, telling us price wants to keep on moving, right? So this high, I'm patiently waiting to see if Nasdaq is gonna break this high. Immediately once this high is broken, we can anticipate that this is going to be a low, this is going to be a high, and we're going to wait for price to retrace to push all the way to the top. Now, when we go to the 4 hour time frame, price action isn't as clean as it wanted to be, guys. Hence why I'm saying indices right now are basically just gambling with your money, right? And I know a lot of guys who are intraday trading this thing and they're chopping them up, but for me right now, like, my strategy isn't working the best with indices. Hence why I'm focusing on currency pairs, right? So as you can see with Nasdaq, it is pushing to the top, but at a very slow rate. Like, the momentum just died off after this strong push over here, right? The strong push that we got on Wednesday, price push all the way to the top, and now it's just slowing down, right? when we can see this is a nice price action pattern that a lot of guys, I used to trade pure price action actually. This is called like a rising wedge. This is basically telling, or like a rising channel, basically an ascending channel. This is basically telling you that price is pushing all the way to the top, but eventually is going to sell all the way to the downside. So something very similar to this. Then we find a break, and then it's gonna retest, so we can go to the 90%, because that can work. And you have to also realize it, guys. Like when you look at it from that perspective, we can see that there's order blocks over here, right? And then there's fair value gaps, right, too. So we can anticipate prices will drop all the way to the downside. But I don't want to confuse anybody. One thing I do want to say about like indices right now, it's just a little bit hectic, especially with my strategy, guys. I don't know about anybody else, but my strategy isn't performing the best with indices. So I'm just focusing a lot on what currency pairs, right? Now, in terms of psychology, right? In terms of psychology in this week's breakdown, you know, I always wing it as usual, but I think another thing that I've been talking to the guys is, as much as it is like, never, I've mentioned not identifying yourself as your losses, you know. And also you have to understand, guys, like I've spoken about discipline, I've spoken about consistency, but I also want to share light on how it is on the other side of consistency, you know. Let's say you do get to consistency as a trader, like what's the next move? And I'm gonna be honest, guys, it's like the ceiling only gets higher, you know. From making 300 Rand or $10 a week to making close to 2 or 4K a week, it's quite different, guys. It's a different change, and the way people treat you is so different, you know, especially people that didn't believe in you, number one. So I'm glad I'm talking about this topic today, because I just wanna push it out there. Like you know, when you're working, guys, the way you are right now, you analyze and you're watching these videos and you're trying to do your best to get to the top, right? Everybody around you is just watching you and it's like, yeah, what is this guy doing, you know? But once you get to the point where, you know, you are making decent bread, you can spoil yourself here, you can buy a few things, and the profits are actually manifesting from your work, right? People start looking at it differently. You know, the people who used to call it a scam are now hitting you up, telling you that they want to learn how to trade. You know, it's quite different. But one thing I do want to say, guys, is especially with your forex profits, be as humble as you possibly can. You need to treat your forex journey like a pregnancy, right? You have to hide it as much as it is, but once the stomach starts showing or the success starts showing and you can't hide it, then that's naturally how things are supposed to be. But in general, try and do your best to withhold and hide the profit, you know. And if it's with family, guys, I'm not saying like spoil them, of course, to show them that it's the real thing. Whenever you do make withdrawals, buy something a little here, a little there, just to show them that, like, look, I am making money and I am gonna support whenever I do have enough cash, you know. And then the only way is up, honestly. Also, saving is a very important thing, guys. Saving is very, very important, especially now, because not all months are gonna be very good, and then you just need to make sure that you're still surviving as a trader to trade the next month. Hence why, right, risk management is such an important thing, even inside and outside of your trading. Like, the same risk management you're applying on your trading account is the same risk management you're supposed to be applying in your bank account too. You can't just be splurging here and there, you know. You just have to make sure that everything is done with intention. That's all I'm trying to say, you know. But nonetheless, guys, it is another video, it is another one. Please make sure to comment down what page you want to see from me next week, and also what type of content you want to see from me, guys. But nonetheless, it is another week, it is another dollar. It's your mentor signing out.